All right, let's do this. Let you go first, Lady C.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay. I will cast my swamp. Tap that.
I'll cast Cultist of the Absolute, Arcane Signet. I'll cast Dreadhorde Invasion. I will draw for Eternal Thirst. I'll play as well as Agent of Shadow, 10 Street Kingpin. Draw for turn. I'll put my commander out. Cast Fury of Emergence. Draw for turn. Zombify D's nuts. I'll play a land for turn. Draw for turn. Gissa Boy. I'll play a land for turn. Doctor Assembly. I'll play a land for turn. Draw for turn. I'll play a land for turn. I'll play a land for turn. Draw for attach Wand of Orcus on my commander.
And so I have a total of 30 coming at you, 8 in the air commander damage. At the end of that combat, I will get my additional combat because of Karlach with another 30, including 8 flying commander damage.
The names. Strikeguard, Lighthearted.
Lady Celestia.
Together we are
Celestial Strike.
Y'all, it is Baldur's Gate release day.
Woo!
Excited.
Where my pre-order at? Where my pre-order? Where my pre-order?
Yeah, USPS.
Come on.
Please hurry.
Get it.
Please hurry.
I need it.
I know they've been shipped. I understand they just came out. Please hurry. Send help. Anyway, y'all, we're rolling right along with just more badass decks and combinations and whatnot that we're seeing so far in Baldur's Gate. And y'all, a big one is Karlach, Fury of Avernus.
Dun 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 dun.
So very much loving this card. It's a little more expensive than normal commanders that I typically play. It's 4 and a red, so 5 total for a 5/4 Tiefling Barbarian. Whenever you attack, if it is the first combat phase of the turn, untap all attacking creatures. They gain first strike until end of turn. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase.
Woo! And you get to choose a background, y'all.
What background do you think we chose?
The Cultist of the Absolute. I love this background. So, commander creatures you own get +3/+3, have flying, death touch, and ward pay 3 life. Not just 3 mana, 3 life. And at the beginning of your upkeep, sack a creature.
Yeah. And we get to add black to our color identity because that's what the Cultist of the Absolute is. It's just a 1-drop for black. And so we get a nice little Rakdos deck, which it's going to be all kind of built around sacrificing creatures, pumping them up, you know, that kind of stuff. No flings. It's not like a Zeatora, so you're not sacking things and dealing damage directly typically in a deck like this. What we want is a lot of big creatures. They're going to be, you know, tokens and whatnot. Like, we're going to get a lot of creatures on the board, so we have things to sack. We also have reanimation to where we're going to sack things, we're going to bring them back, right? So there's a lot of that going on, but mainly we're coming in and attacking 2 times a turn. So a lot of until end of turn pumps, you know, that's not just for the one combat. If you get a +3/+3 pump or something like that, or all attacking creatures are going to get a +2/+0 or something like that, that's until end of turn. So that's both combat phases. You're going to continue to have that pump. So,
well, and also your commander with that Cultist of the Absolute is an 8/8 death touch flyer. With 2 combat phases.
Yeah. 8/7, but yeah, that's the thing. 8 power. I mean, I didn't realize it was 5/4 there.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're right. And so,
well, I just says 8.
Yeah,
8 going
power.
at you.
Yeah, that's the overarching point, is that it's 8 power coming at you in the air twice a turn. You know, that's the thing.
With death touch.
With death touch, and it's just like, hello. So the whole thing is that we want to find things that work well with it. So we definitely need some equipment for our commander to make it even bigger, because like, why not? You know what I mean?
Give him some trample.
Yes,
you know?
Maybe something like that. But
we'll see.
But other enchantments that are going to create tokens. Also, I like the aspect of whenever one of our creatures die, or any creatures die, we're going to get to gain life, and opponents are going to lose life based off of that mechanic. So us just sacking creatures automatically does maybe an extra dink for one, and we gain one. And that's kind of what we want to do there. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. First things first, with any deck and commander period, but especially in this one, when you have more of an expensive commander, you got to start with your ramp. You got to make sure the ramp is in place. Mana base is important too, but mana base can vary depending on how you like to play your decks, right? I like a little bit more mana than most people, but ramp I think is just absolutely essential. So starting off, you definitely want Arcane Signet.
Obviously,
you come in
pretty standard in every deck.
One color of any one color of any color, or one mana of any color of your commander's identity. Same with things like Charcoal Diamonds, Cold Steel Heart comes out, you get to choose a color. You're gonna get to do, you know, maybe like a Fire Diamond, things like that. And that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish is those types of things. Also, in the terms of like creature ramp, you really only need one in this deck. I do Ornithopter of Paradise. That's just a mainstay in just about every single commander deck that I have. I mean, it's Arcane Signet, but a creature, you know, and also you have it out there to where when you do your creature pumps, maybe you sneak in a little extra flyer damage with the Thopter. So, you know, that's kind of the main thing I'm trying to accomplish there. Going on to the 3-drop ramps, you go Commander Sphere, kind of same thing, the mainstay in pretty much all of them. Replicating Ring, kind of the same thing if you ask me. I think it's an incredibly good card, especially in 4-player, because it takes a little longer. You're going to have the upkeeps to go ahead and get your huge colorless artifacts and stuff like that. Firemind Vessel comes out. It's a 4-drop. It's going to come out tapped, but you get to add 2 mana of different colors. So
solid.
That's kind of
solid
what I'm looking for there. Lady C, there's also a couple of artifacts that I put in here. We're going to stay on the artifacts, but I did some more equipment style. I didn't do a whole bunch on that part. And in fact, I only put 2 in this deck. Some people might want to do more, but for what I'm looking at and for my money, I went ahead and put in this one. You want to take a peek at that?
The Wand of Orcus, a 3-drop legendary artifact equipment. Whenever an equipped creature attacks or blocks it and zombies you control, gain death touch until end of turn. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create that many 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Equip 3. That is nice.
Yeah,
that's pretty powerful, I would say.
Yeah, so for 2 and a black, it's going to sit out there, and then you're going to equip it for 3 as well. But once you get Karlach, you start getting that.
When you get that damage, that's a bunch of zombies.
It's a lot of zombies that you get to sack, but also keep on the board. I mean, they're 2/2s. You know, it's not going to be something that's just so easy. And if we're talking about 8 each combat, you could potentially, if you're not blocked, number one, be doing 16 commander damage, but you would also be getting 16 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. And that, I'd say, should put you in a pretty good spot, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would definitely say.
Also, what do you think about this one?
The Moon Silver Spear. So equipped creature has first strike. Whenever equipped creature attacks, create a 4/4 White Angel creature token with flying. Equip 4. The card cost is 4. That one's pretty nice as well.
Yep. Get to make some flying angels that will get to swing twice every turn with your commander.
Yeah, 4/4. So nice. Yeah. And also, if worse comes worse, you got something to sack.
Exactly. That's the thing, is that at the end of the day, it's either for your benefit for extra combat damage or something to sack so you can keep Karlach on the board.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. So yes, I know color identity. We're creating white angel tokens out of nowhere. Guess what? It's a colorless artifact. I can do what I want.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
but for real, that's just a nasty card to put in there. Lady C, do you want to go over some instants and sorceries that I threw in here?
oh yeah. So we got Built to Smash. It is a 1-drop. Target attacking creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. It's an artifact creature. It gains trample until end of turn. And it's just a 1 red mana drop.
Yes.
So that one is really nice. And then we have Infuriate, another 1 red mana drop. Target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt, of course, deal 3 damage to any target for just 1 red mana.
It's kind of a mainstay.
I mean, come on, why would you not? I mean, worst comes to worst, you just get to start out with some immediate direct damage.
Yeah, just maybe kill a blocker or something like that so you can get through. I mean, it's just, you got to.
A Braid is a 1 and a red instant. Choose 1. A Braid deals 3 damage to target creature, or you can destroy target artifact, which is nice.
I really like the flexibility of that card because I can either kill a creature or hopefully kill a creature with 3 damage, and then or I can destroy a target artifact, which, hey, if it's an artifact creature, that's a 2-drop removal for a 1 and a red, which is extremely nice. Or I can kill a really badass artifact like an equipment or something, or maybe I can destroy someone's ramp if I'm really just being rude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, those types of things are
being rude.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes you just got to.
Yeah, it depends on who you play with. You know, sometimes you got to show them who's boss. So also like this Grim Return, it's a 2 and a black. We're going to choose a target creature card in a graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn, and then put that card onto the battlefield back under your control.
That's nice. So if you know, because of that Cultist of the Absolute, you're forced to sack something that you don't really want to sack yet, you got your Grim Return. It'll get you through one more.
Yep, you would hope so. And then Hero's Downfall, you put it in there. This is... I don't understand why this isn't in more decks. Maybe it is. Maybe I just don't see it or run into it as much. But this is definitely like one of the better 3-drop removal spells you can have.
Yeah.
It's 1 and 2 black, and you get to destroy target creature. Get this, or Planeswalker. That's the flexibility that a card like Murder, which I do have in this deck, don't get me wrong, but like Murder is destroy target creature instant, right?
Yeah.
Hero's Downfall, you get to kill a Planeswalker,
which it could be really important if somebody's got a Teferi out there, or Liliana, or Nicol Bolas. I mean, there's some really, really powerful Planeswalkers that sometimes you just don't have an answer for.
And you can just get rid of them with a 3-drop. You know, I mean, I feel like that's a pretty important
it's valuable
card.
Valuable AF.
Yeah, I'd agree. In any black deck, I mean, I would just consider putting that in there. But how about this one, Lady C?
Rush of Blood for 2 and a red. Target creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is its power. Ooh, so you could put that on your Mander and get a 16 in the air, and then turn around and get an 8 in the air. Here's the deal. Remember, until end of turn, so that doesn't get rid of our combat phase. Oh, shoot. So that's 32
in 1 turn for 3. So
oh my god.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
And 32 commander damage would end any game, period. It doesn't matter what the life totals are. I believe commander damage, I mean
20, right?
It's 20. Oh man, you're gonna make me seem like a noob here, y'all. Sorry. Commander damage is something we should probably just have sitting around for some reason. The thing is that whenever we play, that never really happens.
Yeah,
so,
no.
Excuse me, 21 or more. So yeah.
21. Yep. Sorry, guys.
We all learn something new. You know what I mean? So 21. 32, last I checked, is more than 21, so I mean, you win the game.
Mathematically speaking.
Yeah, I'm not a mathematician,
that is correct.
But I think that's how that works because math.
Yeah.
Yes, so let's keep it on with the sorceries here. So let's pull up some here.
Blood Beckoning, just a single black mana, and it does have kicker 3. which return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand if the spell was kicked. Instead, return 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand.
Yep.
So for 4, you could bring back 2 creatures.
Yep. So
once again, that's really valuable when you consider the fact that our enchantment background, we have to sack a creature at every upkeep. So if you have, some of that,
reanimation's a big deal. So
yeah.
Especially if you really get you're not really drawing anything that makes you tokens or anything like that, and you're having to sack good creatures, it's nice to be able to bring them back to your hand and replay them. But also Blood Chief's Thirst, I think this is also just an incredible card to have in a deck. You can do it for the 1 cost, so it'd be 1 black, and you can destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 2 or less. Or if you kick it for the extra 2 and a black, so it would be a 4 total at that point, you get to just destroy any target creature or planeswalker. So it's a very powerful card, and also just like up there with Heroes Downfall, I think it should be in all black decks, and it's super cheap. And we were talking about a 25-cent card here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with Bone Shards. I think this is a good one to have. Hopefully the ideal scenario is you have a lot of tokens and creatures to spare, so you can take the additional cost here. So it costs a 1 black, but as an additional cost, you do have to sack a creature or discard a card, but you do get to destroy target creature or planeswalker for 1 mana.
That is very valuable.
And also, we're talking about a 25-cent card, y'all.
Yeah.
So I mean, these are black mainstay cards, if you ask me. Like, everybody runs it different, but that's, to me, it's, you got to put it in there.
Yeah.
So.
No, agreed.
Like,
Unearth.
Yeah.
We've got a single black, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, or you have the option of paying 2 and cycling the card and drawing another card.
Yeah.
So if your hand is kind of meh,
Yeah, you can cycle it out and draw something else, which is nice.
Or you also have that reanimation, which is always nice as well.
Right, correct. So Krinko's Command is also one in here, so it's a 1 and a red. This is where you really start getting into your token creators and all that. So you're going to create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. It seems like it's nothing in any other deck. Massive in this deck, because that's 2 turns at least that you get to not sack your commander. You know what I mean? You want to get creatures out there, little dinkers.
I mean, that's the only downfall of that Cultist of the Absolute, but I mean,
it's a trade-off.
It would be way overpowered if there wasn't something like that keeping it in control.
The fact that it's a 1-drop enchantment is, you know what I mean?
Insane.
And then having the +3/+3 flying death touch, and you have to pay 3 life if you want to try to remove it. I mean, it's got to have some sort of trade-off, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we have these things in here. So you're gonna have tokens, you're gonna have reanimation as well, like Morgue Thief. Pay the 1 in the black, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand, and then you can flash it back for 4 in a black, so 5 total. So you get to do it twice in 1 game, which is really nice. Same with like your Zombify. 3 in a black, return the target creature card from your graveyard into the battlefield, so not even to the hand at this point. Now we're talking to the battlefield, which is pretty valuable itself.
Yeah.
Lady C, what do you think about this one?
From Under the Floorboards, 3 and 2 black. So Madness, which is X and 2 black. If you discard this card, discard it into exile. When you do, cast it for its Madness cost or put it into your graveyard. Okay, and then you create 3 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens, and you gain 3 life. If the spell's Madness cost was paid, instead create X of those tokens, and you gain X life.
Right, so the Madness can get out of hand too. If you have a lot of mana, you probably would consider doing this for the Madness cost, right? So you're going to discard a card, I get it, but you're going to put this one in exile, and you're going to pay, I mean, if you're really big ballin', this has got a lot of ramp in it, right? So you could technically make 10 of these 2/2 black zombie tokens and gain 10 life if you do have 12 floating mana out there, which isn't far-fetched in this deck. So you got 12 mana, you can make 10 and gain 10 life, and that's that might just be GG's, right? Because it's kind of a late game play, and that's going to be tough to deal with. So, return upon the tide. You're going to pay 4 and a black. You're going to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's a, it's an elf, create 2 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens. You're gonna foretell it as well, so you can pay the 2, foretell it face down. You'd pay 3 and a green for it instead. So another token generator type thing, and you'd be if it's an elf like that, you're going to bring the elf back and then create 2 more creatures on top, which is a pretty big deal. So
yeah.
What do you think about this one?
Rise Again for 4 and a black. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Just straight to the battlefield.
That's nice.
Stir the Sands as well, so you pay 4 and 2 black. You're going to create 3 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. So, as you see here, got to make all the creatures, and these are valuable spells because they're creating multiple tokens, not just like, hey, create a token or this happens and create 1 token. Like, no, you're doing it a lot. You can also cycle it for 3 and a black. When you cycle it, you just create 1, so you're guaranteed to at least get 1 out of it, but better to get 3 than 1. Right?
Yeah.
All right, Lady C, this is the biggie.
Ooh, Big Daddy, Army of the Damned for 5 and 3 black, so a total of 8. Create 13 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. It also has flashback for 7 and 3 black. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost and exile it. Good Lord Almighty, if you've got enough mana, you can stack your board and not have to worry about a thing.
So in my zombie decks, I always have this because, right? So any zombie tribal, typically you've probably seen this card, but if you haven't, this is usually how it works. You play it, and then the next turn, because it's usually a late game play and you have mana, usually the next turn you can flash it right back because it's only 2 more to flash it back, and you've created now 26 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens in 2 turns.
That's a lot.
Usually that means the game is over. So that's just kind of how that goes. Yes, so that rounds out our instants and sorceries. I say we probably should jump right over to the enchantments. We got a few of those in here. So Lady C, take a peek at that.
Ooh, Quest for the Grave Lord, a 1 black mana. Whenever a creature dies, you may put a quest counter on Quest for the Grave Lord. Remove 3 quest counters from Quest for the Grave Lord and sacrifice it. Create a 5/5 black zombie giant creature token. That is not too shabby at all. I mean, basically, you pay 1 black, and then if you have Cultist of the Absolute out there,
things are gonna die.
3 turns, you get a 5/5 black zombie giant.
Yep.
So I mean, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's an
for
extremely
only 1
valuable
mana.
card. Yeah, and that's like saying you don't kill any of the other creatures on the board like your opponents. So it's just like whenever a creature dies. So I mean, if you're at a multiplayer game and you're at a four player table, if people are killing things, you could get this out there like almost immediately, right? Like if 2 players are fighting, if their creatures are dying, you're just like, okay, thanks for the quest counters, and then you can just make a 5/5 black zombie token, maybe before your turn's even back. So pretty nice card. Agent of the Shadow Thieves. It is 1 and a black. This is also a background, obviously not our background, but it's in there. So commander creatures we own are going to have, whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. It gains death touch and indestructible until end of turn. So with us having 2 combat phases, let's just say they had the blocks for it, it'd be nice for us to be able to make it indestructible and put 1/1 counters on our Karlach. So
yeah,
I like it. Lady C.
Death Horde Invasion for 1 and a black. Oh, I'm sorry, Dread Horde Invasion for 1 and a black. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and amass 1, which means you put a 1/1 counter on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first.
Yep. So basically, you make a 0/0 token and put a 1/1 counter on it if you don't already have that zombie army little creature token out there. So.
And then whenever a zombie token you control with power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until end of turn.
Yep. So if you can keep that token alive, then, or excuse me, just any token, doesn't have to be the zombie army one, but if you can pump a token enough to power 6 or greater, which with the creature pumps is possible, it's going to get lifelink until end of turn, and that's not until end of combat. That's going to be end of turn, so you could swing twice with it for 2 lifelink triggers. So.
I would also like to point out that if you're not pulling enough of your token cards with that Cultist of the Absolute, having this card up here basically keeps you from having to sack anything, because every single upkeep you're creating a black zombie creature.
So you're guaranteed to be able to keep your commander out because you'll always have something to sack when you have the Dreadhorde out there.
And it's so cheap.
Yeah, it's 2-drop, you know, and so you have it out there and you'll always have something to sack, and then you'll get an extra little bonus if you can pump one of your zombie tokens, or if you never have to sack it, you just keep getting 1/1 counters on this bad boy, and then all of a sudden you're swinging out, maybe it's a 6/6, and then you're like 6/6, boom, lifelink 12, you know what I mean? So it just gets a little out of hand sometimes. Eternal Thirst, it's a 1 and a black is the next one. So it's an aura, so you don't have to equip it or anything, just put it directly onto a creature. Enchanted creature is going to have lifelink, and then whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on this creature.
Oh,
so
that can get pretty, I mean, because you don't even have to kill him. It's just any time that anyone at the table besides you loses a creature, you get to put a counter on there.
Yep. So you're probably gonna, I mean, let's just say you're pumping your commander, you're kind of Voltroning it, and so Karlach is gonna keep getting 1/1 counters, and it already has lifelink, and it's flying, and it's a death touch, and it already has the pump +3/+3 pump from Cultist. So what else can you ask for? And then Bastion of Remembrance, so 2 and a black. It's an enchantment, so you're gonna when it enters the battlefield, you're gonna create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
Oh, it's a little salve on the wound whenever you lose a creature.
So here's the ideal turn. You're gonna swing in for 16 for with Karlach, and let's just say you get half of it through because they block it 1 time. So you get your 8 in, and then you're gonna sack something because you have to with Cultist. Then you're just gonna do an extra little dink of 1 life, and you're gonna gain a life. It's
just a little, you know.
And it's
a salve on our wound for losing but it's salt in there.
Salt Bay. And it's not just that opponent that you attacked, it's each opponent is going to do that. So you might become a target with this out there.
Yeah, well, this whole deck I feel like makes you a target because it's so powerful.
Yeah. This is really one that it kind of it can kind of deflect the whole you getting targeted thing, because you're helping other people out. Lady C, take a peek.
Curse of Disturbance, 2 and a black. It's an aura as well. Enchant player. Whenever enchanted player is attacked, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Each opponent attacking that player does the same.
So hey, let's play the politic game, right? Hey, I need creature tokens. This guy's the threat over here. This gal's the threat. Let's go ahead and enchant them, and then every time y'all attack, you're gonna get 2/2 black zombie creature tokens as well as me. So everybody wins, right? Until I swing at you with Karlach and I absolutely destroy you. But that's how you play the little politics game. So maybe you can deflect a little bit, start getting up and rolling, build your board out a little bit, and then you can just take over the game after that. So nobody else has to know your actual plans. You know, you would never have other opponents' interests not in mind whenever you're playing, right? Anyway, Goblin Assault's our next one. 2 and a red now. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token with haste. Goblins attack each turn if able. So, you know, I mean, it's a trade-off. If someone has blockers, you know, it can kind of bite you, but I'll take the guaranteed creatures each turn just in case, right? Because there are some goblins in here, and I say some. There's a lot of goblins in here, and a lot of goblin tokens will be made. They're all going to have to attack each turn. That could be awesome. You know, who knows? But, you know, I mean, there is the risk of you have to swing out every time and then you don't have something to sack, but I'll take the trade-off. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's going to round out our enchantments. Now we get into more fun things. So I got a couple.
I mean, I've been having fun already.
Oh, I mean, yeah. But I mean, now we get to really see how this deck pops off. Like that is just the tip of the iceberg, my dear Lady C. We're gonna start getting into some Planeswalkers, and then we'll do creatures after that.
Ooh,
so
okay.
Planeswalkers, though, I got 2 of them.
Ooh.
Ongrath, Captain of Chaos. So it's 2, and then you can either pay a black, red, or a black or a red. So you can pay whatever combination of 4 gets you to Ongrath. So creatures you control have menace. That's a big deal, especially we were just talking about, these goblins, you know, we might have to attack every turn or whatever, but if they all have menace, you're going to probably keep a lot of them alive. So it's a big
and then you look at too, if you, of course I know, if you get the Big Daddy with your 13 2/2 zombies.
Yeah, I mean, then it's over.
Then it's over already, but still, if they all have menace, then no one can do anything.
Over. Yeah, you just start taking people out 1 at a time, or maybe 2 at a time. And it does have a -2 ability, Amass 2. So we just talked about Amass with the Dreadhorde invasion. You're going to put the 2 1/1 counters on a zombie army you control. If you don't have a zombie army you control, you're going to put the 2 1/1 counters on a new one, right? So yeah, so it's a token generator and has the flavor of giving all of your creatures menace, which is kind of nice. I know you know this one, Lady C.
Ooh, Liliana, Dreadhorde General. It's 4 and 2 black. So whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. +1 is create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. -4, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. That's smarts. -9, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. If you can get her big enough to do that, that's a rage quit right there.
Yeah, because
that's so terrible, especially if you play it later in the game. That's so rude.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that it is kind of a late game card. It's expensive. It's a 6-drop, right? And then the -9 is going to take you a few turns to get up there because you can only +1 each turn. So it's going to take at least 3 turns of after you've cast a 6-drop, right? So we're in the late game, right? So if you can get the ult ability, everybody is going to be able to keep a land, an artifact, a creature, and a planeswalker if they have it, and that's it. Not like, sack all your non-land permanents and stuff like a lot of stuff does. No, permanents, period.
So lands, you lose your lands,
and your enchantments, right? So you get to keep an enchantment too. Woo! But
still, you lose
one of each.
Lose all but 1 land. I mean, what else can you do?
It's asinine, y'all. It's asinine. So if you can get that going, then yeah, good luck.
She is a real bitch.
I'd say so.
Glad to want her on my side.
Exactly. I was gonna say she's not whenever she's working for you. She's great general. But if you're playing against her, you don't like her. Okay. Let's talk about creatures. And obviously, like we said, the whole aspect is they need to be synergetic with sacrificing and, you know, just things in general. And then we obviously have some bigger boys that swing in, your thick daddies, right, that are going to get the extra.
Thick daddies.
Yeah, get the extra combat, get the extra damage. But we always need something to sack, right? So Persistent Specimen. It is a 1-drop, 1 black. So it's a 1/1 skeleton, so nothing crazy. But here's the deal. You can pay 2 and a black, return it back to the graveyard, to the battlefield tapped. So you can just do that at any time. So if it's in your graveyard, then go ahead and just pay the 3.
And get it back out. That way you're not having to sacrifice anything else if you're not getting those tokens rolling.
That's the thing. As long as you have 3 mana, you can always put this back out, and you can always sack it, and you can always keep Karlach on the board pretty annoying, I would say, for other people.
Yeah.
It's fun for you, just annoying for other people. Okay, Lady C.
Urborg Skeleton, a 1-drop black. So he also has a kicker 3 cost. If you paid the kicker cost, Urborg Skeleton comes into play with a +1/+1 counter on it. It also has a regenerate cost of 1.
Yep. So
once again,
just keep bringing
it back out. I mean, come on.
Yeah, regenerate it. And regeneration, and I could be wrong for some reason. I feel like it's this. Regeneration is put it back to your hand. So you regenerate it back out of your graveyard, but it's only a 1-drop.
Right? Yeah.
And then if you want to, you play it turn 1, let's just say, right? Then you start getting some mana. Then you can bring it back out and put 1/1 counters on it, right? And then, bring it back out and just keep doing that if you have the means to do so. But either way, being able to bring it back out and then recast it for a total of 2, it's kind of nice. I'd say you always have something to sack with that one, it seems like, as well. So Ahum Stonewalker, it is a 1 and a red for a 2/1 human shaman. It has a landfall. So check this out. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2 and a red. If you do, put a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste onto the battlefield. Exile that token at the beginning of the next end step.
Oh, wow.
So, kind of nice, right? And if I'm not mistaken, with the way that the triggers go, we can sack it before we have to sack it to the exile thing. Like, we can sack it before we exile is what I should say, with Karlach. So I'm pretty sure when we get to our end step, Karlach will trigger first. We can sack the token instead of having to exile it and sack something else. Does that make sense? So yeah. Blood Artist is another big one that I like to have in here. It's a 1 and a black. It's for a 0/1 vampire. Nothing to see here, right?
Yeah.
Here's the deal though. Whenever it or another creature dies, another creature, doesn't have to be yours, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
Ooh.
Kind of gets a little dicey.
Yeah.
Little dicey.
Oh, and then we've got the Reassembling Skeleton for 1 and a black. It's a 1/1 skeleton warrior. For 1 and a black, you can return him from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Are y'all sensing a theme here? You're gonna get little bitty creatures, and then there's some of them that you just bring right back onto the battlefield every single time. So you could technically win the game with 2 of these like beginning creatures that reassemble themselves like this, because you could just keep Karlach on the board. Likely no one will be able to deal with it, and if they do, they have to pay 3 life. So you'll always have something to sack, like Reassembling Skeleton. Okay, I'm gonna pay 2 to cast it. I'm going to sack it. I'm going to pay 2 to bring it back onto the battlefield tapped.
And even if something does happen to Karlach, we have a lot of reanimation sorceries and instants in there.
Bring it right back out of the graveyard. Don't even worry about the commander tax.
Cheap, yeah.
I mean, if you're playing Graveyard Hate, then yes, send it back to the command zone. And Graveyard Hate is the only weakness against this deck. I will say that. Obviously, anything that has to do with the reanimation and all that. Likely, if you play Graveyard Hate, if someone gets Tormone's Crypt or something like that and exiles your graveyard, it's not that fun. But
oh yeah, there is that.
But not very many people play Graveyard Hate. Let's just be real. And if they do, you just tip your cap to them. Ball's Invoker as well. So we got
Bale.
Oh, this is Balls.
Balls. It's balls.
Bales. It's probably Bales, Bahals,
Bahal.
Invoker.
Bahal.
I don't know. Y'all yell at me and tell me how to pronounce it in the comments. 2 and a red, so 3 total for a 4/2 Dragon Shaman. Here's the deal though. You get to pay 8. It's gonna do 4 damage to each opponent.
Oh yikes.
So y'all, it doesn't get more burny than that. Like, there's obviously burn spells that you can be like, hey, I do 4 damage to your face and it costs like 3 or something like that, right? You're going to be able to do 4 damage to each opponent. So obviously the value is in 4-player here. It's not heads up. If you're playing just 1v1, 8's kind of a lot to do just 4 damage, but it's still nice because if you have the mana, you're doing an extra 4 and you can stack those. So if you somehow have 16 mana, you're doing 8 damage to, you know what I mean? So just a little extra stuff. Lady C, what do you think about this
my
one?
daddy here. Daddy's out. Krinko 10th Street Kingpin for 2 and a red. I love this guy, you guys. He's a 1/2 creature goblin. Whenever he attacks, you put a 1/1 counter on him, then create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature token equal to Krinko's power.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's a 1/1 counter, so he gets bigger every turn. So your very first turn, when he gets to attack, he's gonna become a 2/3. You're gonna get 2 tokens. Then the next turn he's gonna be a 3/4 and you're gonna get 3 tokens, so on and so forth. If you have any plus that you want to put on there and just get a whole bunch of tokens,
like that Infuriate we looked at, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You just pump them for a 3/2 and all of a sudden you're making a whole bunch of tokens like right away. So this is an
love this card.
incredible card to keep in this
He's fun
deck.
to play as a commander too, or to pair with other token creating commanders.
It's just one of the better cards in Magic. Let's just be real.
It's a good card.
So, transitioning over to Mardu Strike Leader. So it's a 2 and a black, and it is a 3/2 human warrior. So whenever it attacks, you actually create a 2/1 black warrior creature token. So that's not something you have to exile at the end of combat. You'll see that a lot. This is just straight up, you just make the token, and it's not tapped and attacking, so you don't have to worry about it dying. Now you got some sack fuel, right? You can also pay the dash cost, which I believe this is 3 and a black, right?
Yes.
And the dash cost means you put it out there, but you have to exile it at the end of your next end step, or the beginning of the next end step. And so you dash it out, and basically you dash out for some quick, you'd get multiple combats with Karlach, but you get a quick little 3/2 and then create a token. You don't have to exile the token. That's kind of the whole thought process.
Okay, so it gains haste. Does the token gain haste or just Mardu?
No, just Mardu.
Just Mardu.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of the whole. It's kind of the whole thing there, but you will exile it, but you get to create the token.
But it goes back into your hand.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, if you do, it gains haste and it's returned from the battlefield to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next
Whoa!
So
Oh,
it
my
gets to come
goodness.
back, and then you could just keep redoing it
Y'all.
and keep making 2/1 black warrior
Why
creatures.
did I
if
think
you've
it
got
was?
the mana, then
Why
you've
did
got
I think
the
it was going to
mana.
get exiled?
I don't know.
That was obviously wrong.
It makes it even better.
Yeah, that makes it incredible because you just bring it back, then it can stave off removal,
Stave off.
and you just keep making tokens. That's an incredible value, y'all. So it's even better than I thought.
Yeah.
This one's kind of fun, Lady C.
Varagoth Bloodsky Sire for 2 and a black. It is a 2/3 legendary demon rogue with death touch. You can also boast him. Target player searches their library for a card, then shuffles their library and puts that card on top of it.
Yep.
So I'm assuming you would be the target player.
Yeah,
in
most
that
of the time.
instant.
Unless you're just in you're down bad and you need to pull some politics. But
So that's super nice. You get a
you
2/3
tutor.
death touch, and then just for 2 more, you can
a
go
vampiric
find
tutor,
it.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, vampiric tutor, exactly.
put it on top of the library, draw it the next turn, boom,
Yeah.
you're good. Falcon Wrath Noble is our next one, is a 3 and a black. Here's the fun part. It's a 2/2 flyer. Vampire Noble. Whenever it or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
Oh, I'm seeing that a lot. That's a nice little theme in this deck.
Yeah, and not a creature you control, opponent controls. It is any creature. When it dies, you're going to gain life, and target player is going to lose 1 life. So pretty fun.
Ooh, Gissa, Glorious Resurrector. Y'all, this is a spicy card.
Yes.
2 and 2 black. You get a 4/4 legendary human wizard. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. At the beginning of your upkeep, put all creature cards exiled with Gissa, Glorious Resurrector, onto the battlefield under your control. They gain decayed. So, if a creature that an opponent controls dies, you take it, and then at your upkeep, you get to play it.
Yeah, it just pops on
When
the
it has
battlefield.
decayed. So if, let's just say they have whatever they have, if they've got a 5/5 and you destroy it,
Yeah.
or we've got all these removal cards, you can destroy. Let's say they've got, I don't know,
something huge.
Something huge,
And-
you know.
and then we-
a thorn mammoth. Let's say they have a thorn
there we
mammoth.
go. Great
We're
example.
gonna destroy the thorn mammoth, put it under her. Then at our upkeep, it's gonna come out as a 6/6 haste.
Yep.
And we're also gonna get.
It doesn't. It's not haste. It's
not haste, but I mean we
but
get to
still,
use it.
It's a thorn
decayed.
mammoth.
It's a thorn mammoth, but I didn't. So it doesn't technically have haste, but you get to use it immediately. Correct?
I mean,
It's
if
not
you
summoning sick because it has decayed. So
no, it has summoning sickness. So if it's going to enter the battlefield under your control for that turn, so it will technically
so it
have
will
entered
have
the battlefield.
okay.
So it will have
summoning sickness.
We'll have summoning sickness, but what's fun about this is
But
that
for the decayed, it'll die once it attacks.
Right.
Or blocks.
and but what's fun is that it's at the end step, so you'll get to attack with that thorn mammoth twice
Yeah.
because you'll untap everything with Karlach
Yeah.
and then attack again, and it's going to get first strike as well as trample if we're talking about thorn mammoth. Then at your end step you can sack that person's thorn mammoth decayed creature token or whatever, and it's gone forever, and it's wipe your hands and I mean, that's where it starts getting ridiculous. So just like Lady C saying, if you can get someone else's big creature, put it under your control, and then you get to swing at that person with their creature.
Oh my gosh. This card just has so much value. For only 4 mana, you get to do that.
Yeah.
And it's a 4/4, so I mean, it's not like it's a little
ain't no
teeny
slouch.
tiny creature.
Yeah, she ain't no slouch herself. So,
Yeah.
I mean, whew, that one just gets out of hand. But also like this one as well, Goblin Trap Runner. So it's a 3 and a red, 4 total for a 4/2 Goblin. Whenever the Goblin Trap Runner attacks, you're going to flip 3 coins. For each flip you win, create a 1/1 red Goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking.
Oh man. So you could get up to 3.
Yep, and you just play some heads or tails real quick, and if you get
That's
all
every time it attacks.
every single time, and so
If you have a double-headed coin.
go. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Go ahead and cheat in the coin flip as well. But for real, you're gonna get 2 attack combat phases is what I should say. So you can do this twice a turn with Goblin out there, or the Goblin Trap Runner. So it's pretty good value, I'd say. You're making a lot of tokens, more stuff to sack.
Oh man, people are gonna hate this deck.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of salt factor.
Then we've got the Haunted Dead for 3 and a black. It's a 2/2 zombie. When Haunted Dead enters with the battlefield, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield, and then for 1 and a black, you can discard 2 cards and return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Looky there.
So that's nice.
More reanimation, and every time it enters, you can make a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So this is one of those things that if for whatever reason it dies, you can just pay 2. I mean, obviously you have to discard 2 cards, but
Yeah, so you're not going to want to keep returning it.
Yeah, that's
you
not
know,
one
'cause
that-
there's not a bunch of card draw.
yeah, it's
in
not
this.
one you'll be able to do over and over again, but one that you can
one.
at least bring back and, hey, I got another spirit that I can go ahead and,
I mean, if you need to.
yeah. So just kind of nice.
Yeah.
Just kind of nice. Siege Gang Commanders. Our next one is a 3 red and a red, and despite what it says, it is not our commander, but it is a 2/2 Goblin, and whenever it enters the battlefield, create 3 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens. You can pay 1 in a red, you can sack a Goblin, and then you can fling 2 damage at any target. So there's a little bit of fling in there, but not really. But, you know, you can sack a Goblin and do 2 damage if you really need to. If you got someone down to 2 life, and you can't get through for whatever reason, just sack a Goblin, boom.
So let me ask you this. So with the Cultist of the Absolute,
Uh-huh.
we've got this guy out here. Let's say it's the beginning of our upkeep and we need to sack a creature.
Uh-huh.
Can we also use this 1 in a red? Can we use it with that sack?
No, it's
and
going to be a
just deal the
separate.
damage.
It's going to be a separate trigger because it's not saying whenever you sacrifice a creature. It's saying that
I was trying to see if you could double up.
that would be kind
really
of broken.
But it'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. And I was talking about the end steps earlier. You're right. It's at the beginning of our upkeeps that we're sacrificing creatures.
Yeah, so you've got to have the creatures got to still be out there.
Right. So, yeah, I think I was
It's at
talking
the
about
upkeep.
exiling earlier or end steps and stuff like that earlier.
No, yeah, it's in your upkeep.
Gotta have it in the upkeep. So just forget what you heard from me. So it's a new card, y'all. We're learning the things as we are.
droids you're looking
Exactly.
for.
Same with the War Chief Giant. This is a new one. Baldur's Gate 3 and a red. So 5 total for a 5/3 giant warrior. It has haste, but it also has myriad, which means you're going to make creature tokens. So when it attacks, for each opponent other than the defending player, you're going to create a token that's a copy of the creature that's tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. And then you're going to exile the tokens at the end
of combat.
Yeah, end of combat.
So yeah, so that's nice.
Yeah, just extra stuff. And once your combats are over, you got to sack them, but it's still extra stuff, which is nice. Hasty.
Yeah.
This one's kind of nice, though.
Atali Primal Storm. Of course, it's kind of nice. 4 and 2 red for a 6/6 legendary Elder Dinosaur. Whenever Atali Primal Storm attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost.
Yeah.
So that is really rough for everyone, especially if you're playing a 4 game. That's four cards that you get to
pay for free.
Hopefully everybody's not drawing mana that turn.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me before, but that's still a nice little it's still nice thing to have.
Even if you get 4 mana, worst comes to worst.
Yeah, I mean, worst. Yeah, I guess that's true. Thopter Assemblies, our next one, is also a 6-drop. It's just 6 generic for a 5/5 Thopter. Here's the thing. It's a flyer. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control no other Thopters besides the Thopter Assembly, you're going to return it back to your hand, and then you're going to create 5 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. So what's nice is how that stacks up is at the beginning of your upkeep, is that if that's the only Thopter, I think the triggers would line up, and like I said, yell at me if it's wrong, but I think the triggers would line up to where you can return that to our hand, create the 5 1/1 colorless Thopters, and then you go to the sacrifice with the Cultist of the Absolute. So I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how that one works. So you'd be able to, if you only had that and Karlach out there, you could bring the Thopter back, make 5 tokens, have something to sacrifice, boom. So, and then once you have those Thopters out there, you can just keep the 5/5 flyer, and let's just say you ran out of sacrifice fuel from your Thopters, you'd be returning it back to your hand and creating 5 more. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty nice card to have in this deck, I would say.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Here's a good one.
Kairvek. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Kairvek, I think?
Kairvek. Whatever. The Merciless. It's a 5, 1 black, 1 red, and you get a 5/4 legendary human shaman. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, Kairvek the Merciless deals a damage equal to that spell's converted mana cost to any target.
Yikes.
Ooh.
So
that hurts.
Yeah, people are going to play their spells, and hopefully they don't play really large spells, because you're going to do that
much
converted mana cost.
But I like the fact that it's to any target, because I mean, you might not even be worried about like dinking them for life. It could be that you need to get rid of their planeswalker, or
somebody else's planeswalker,
exactly,
right?
or a powerful creature on the board.
You could play the politics game, because you could say, hey, we got a problem over there. Do you have a big spell in your hand? Just play it. I won't touch it, right? I won't touch it. I won't attack you until the end of next turn, or whatever you want to do your agreement with. And you'll be like, I'll take care of that because of Karlach.
You've got a problem, yeah.
Yeah, so you can play some politics games with it. It's kind of nice. Mm-hmm. Kind of nice. We also got the Mirror Battle Sphere. So you're going to have, did I say spear? It's sphere. Sphere. It's a 7-drop, 7 generic for 4/7 Mirror Construct. So whenever it enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. Whenever it attacks, you may tap X untapped mirror you control. If you do, it's going to get +X+0 until end of turn, where X and deals X damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. So if you have all 5 or 4 of those 1/1 mirrors, you can tap all 4, and it's going to do 4 damage to the player or planeswalker that you're attacking with the Mirror Battle Sphere, and it's going to get a +4/+0 bump until end of turn, and you'll have 2 combat phases because of Karlach. So
that's pretty nice.
Does get a little out of hand.
So we've got next we have Skyline Despot. 5 and 2 reds. You get a 5/5 dragon flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. Ooh. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you're the monarch, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying.
Woo.
So the monarch, that means that you get to draw a card on your end step.
Yep. So you technically get 2 card draws. So you, on your upkeep, you draw a card or draw phase, and then you, on your end step, draw another card. But what makes it nice there is not only card draw, but if you just have the monarch, which you can lose the monarch if someone does damage to you, they're like, oh, I'm the monarch now. So if you trade damage with people, you continue to get it. But if you have it on your upkeep, you're going to be making a 5/5 dragon creature token with flying.
And hopefully, you know, we've created so many tokens that you have enough blockers that you should be able to keep. I mean, if you've got somebody with a big trample beast, I get it. It's going to happen sometimes. Or, you know, direct damage spells could take your monarch away.
Yeah.
Will direct damage, or is it just combat damage?
Oh, that's a great question. And you know what? Let's go ahead and just look it up. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea because it's a legitimate concern.
So we're seeing if it takes it away.
If you do a direct damage spell, you know, just like a burn spell, like the lightning bolt, 3 damage right to your face. Does that count, or does it have to be combat damage?
Yes. So the only thing,
it has to be combat damage. So the creature, another player's creature, has to deal that damage to you. Okay, good.
So creature has to deal combat damage to you. Okay. So like you were saying, you should have enough blockers to be able to keep it at this point, right?
Yes.
And with you being able to untap stuff or whatever, you should have enough to where you can swing in with everything if you want, untap all your creatures for the additional combat phase, and maybe only swing in with half so you stay back and keep your block, keep your monarch. But then you're just going to keep making those tokens. I mean, y'all, that's the whole thing. It's just going to get outrageous.
Oh my lord.
And for me, I run 39 lands. Yes, I get it. Some people run less. Some people go all the way down to like 28 lands, and I think that's insane.
But guys, this deck is so spicy. It has so much going on. You've got with the commander, who himself is awesome and gives you 2 combat phases. Then you put in your background with the Cultist of the Absolute, which makes him tougher and way stronger. Then we've got lots of token. We have token creatures. We have reanimation. We've got so many different things that are just working together to make this deck just out of control.
Insane. It's absolutely insane. So that's why we wanted to get in, do a little podcast on it, because we think y'all will like that concept as well. And obviously, you know, probably should have put the disclaimer at the front, but the disclaimer is these aren't like set in stone things. This is just how
we're gonna play them.
Yeah, and we haven't actually been able to physically play the cards yet, so it can change, right? Like we might be like,
where my pre-order?
Yeah, I know.
Where my pre-order?
We're waiting for the cards to get here, so I'm like, you know,
we can't wait to play them against each other and see whose decks are better.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, probably mine's gonna be better. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for popping in on this one. If you liked what you saw, please like the video.
Like the videos. Hit us the subscribe button.
Subscribe.
Hit the subscribe button. It's free and it helps us out a ton. Also, if you're into magic and deck building, which don't know why you'd be watching the podcast if you
probably haven't made it this far if you're not, so
join our Discord. We have a great group of people from all backgrounds and all levels of magic, experience levels that we just like to build decks and work together and, you know, give each other ideas and just, you know, brainstorm. Lots of fun. We challenge each other to direct challenges. We do untap. Also, we stream on Twitch.
We do
every Wednesday and Sunday at 6, and so a lot of times we do direct challenges with our followers there. So follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on Twitch, and become a Mythic Rare Celestial.
Woo. But yeah, that's most of the things of what we do. But y'all, once again, thank you so much. We are gonna pop back into our realm, but we will see y'all next time. So until next time, I am Strike Our Light Herder.
I'm Lady Celestria.
Together we are
Celestial
Strike. We will see y'all next time. Take it sleazy.
Goodbye.
Peace.